Take a slow breath, not a rushed breath, not a distracted breath, a deliberate one. Let the air settle in your lungs. Let your shoulders lower. Let the noise fade just a little. Now listen carefully. Today we are not talking about loud freedom. We are not talking about rebellion without direction. We are not talking about escape. We are talking about something deeper. We are talking about freedom that begins within. Freedom is not something that arrives when circumstances change. It is not something that waits for permission. It is not something granted by applause or recognition. Freedom is a state of ownership. Ownership of your thoughts, ownership of your decisions, ownership of your direction. And the moment you understand this, truly understand it, your life begins to change. Not dramatically, not all at once, but steadily, quietly, powerfully. The illusion of external freedom. Many people spend their entire lives chasing what they believe is freedom. They chase money, they chase status, they chase validation, they chase escape. If I just had more resources, I would be free. If I just had more time, I would be free. If people finally understood me, I would be free. But listen closely. External change without internal clarity is not freedom. You can have wealth and still be imprisoned by fear. You can have influence and still be trapped by insecurity. You can have comfort and still be controlled by doubt. Freedom does not begin when everything around you aligns. Freedom begins when you align yourself. It begins when you stop asking the world who you are and start deciding who you are. Freedom is responsibility. This is where most people step back, because true freedom is not comfortable at first. Freedom is responsibility. When you are free, you cannot blame endlessly. You cannot hide behind excuses. You cannot point outward for every limitation. Freedom says, yes, this is my life. Yes, these are my choices. Yes, this is my responsibility. That realization is heavy, but it is also powerful, because if it is your responsibility, then it is also your authority. You are not at the mercy of every emotion. You are not at the mercy of every opinion. You are not at the mercy of every setback. You are responsible, and that means you are capable. There is strength in that truth. Governing the inner world. You cannot always control events, but you can govern your inner world, your thoughts, your reactions, your discipline, your integrity. Freedom is self-governance. It is choosing patience when anger feels justified. It is choosing consistency when motivation fades. It is choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. That is not weakness. That is mastery. And mastery is freedom. When you govern yourself, you are no longer governed by impulse. When you master your reactions, you are no longer controlled by circumstance. When you choose your values deliberately, you are no longer shaped by pressure. Imagine that level of stability, calm, unshaken, deliberate. That is what freedom feels like. Freedom from fear. Fear will always exist, but you do not have to obey it. Fear says, stay small, stay safe. Do not risk embarrassment. Do not risk failure. Freedom listens to fear, but does not kneel to it. Freedom acknowledges risk, but it does not surrender to paralysis. You are not free if fear makes every decision. You are free when you act in alignment with purpose, even when fear whispers. Not recklessly, not blindly, but courageously. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is authority over fear. You do not eliminate fear to become free. You outgrow its control. Freedom from the past. Your past has shaped you. It has taught you. It has strengthened you. It may have wounded you, but it does not own you. Freedom is the decision to learn without living in resentment. Freedom is the choice to remember without reliving. Freedom says, that happened, and I am still here, and I am still capable, and I will move forward. You do not deny your history. You transcend its control. That is quiet power, and quiet power lasts. The discipline of freedom. Here is a truth many overlook. Freedom requires discipline. Without discipline, you drift. With discipline, you direct. Freedom is waking up when you said you would. Freedom is keeping your word to yourself. Freedom is finishing what you start. Every small act of self-discipline strengthens your independence. Because when you cannot trust yourself, you are not free. But when your word becomes reliable to yourself and to others, your confidence deepens. And confidence born from discipline is unshakable. Freedom is not chaos. It is structure chosen intentionally. Freedom from validation. You cannot be free if your identity depends on approval, if you rise and fall based on applause, if your direction changes based on criticism, if your confidence exists only when others agree, then you are not leading your life. You are reacting to it. Freedom is the calm understanding that not everyone will approve, and that is acceptable. Not everyone will understand your path. That is acceptable. Not everyone will support your growth. That is acceptable. Your responsibility is not to satisfy every voice. Your responsibility is to honor your truth, quietly, consistently, respectfully. Freedom is self-respect without arrogance, the freedom of clarity. Clarity is power. When you know your values, decisions become simpler. When you know your priorities, distractions lose strength. When you know who you are becoming, temporary setbacks lose their sting. Freedom grows in clarity. Take time to define, what do you stand for? What will you no longer tolerate? What kind of person are you building? Write it down, reflect on it, return to it. Because without clarity, freedom becomes confusion. With clarity, freedom becomes direction, freedom and patience. We live in a culture of urgency, immediate results, instant gratification, rapid validation. But freedom is patient. It understands that growth is gradual. It understands that mastery takes time. It understands that stability is built brick by brick. You do not rush into freedom, you build into it. Every disciplined day, every honest conversation, every moment you choose growth over comfort. There is no need to hurry, there is only a need to continue. The quiet authority within. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a version of yourself that is calm under pressure, a version of yourself that listens before reacting, a version of yourself that chooses deliberately. That version exists. It is not a fantasy. It is potential. And freedom is the pathway toward it. You do not become powerful by dominating others. You become powerful by mastering yourself. Calm authority does not shout. It does not rush. It does not seek attention. It moves with certainty. It speaks with intention. It stands with integrity. That is the presence of freedom. Freedom is alignment. There is a deep peace that comes when what you believe, what you say, and what you do move together. No contradiction, no hidden conflict, no internal war. Alignment. When your actions reflect your values, you sleep differently. When your choices reflect your truth, you walk differently. When your life reflects your intentions, you speak differently. This is not about perfection. It is about consistency, small, steady alignment. That is freedom. When challenges come, freedom does not remove difficulty, it transforms your relationship with it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What can I build from this?" Instead of saying, "This is unfair," you say, "This is an opportunity to strengthen." Freedom changes the lens, and when the lens changes, the experience changes. You become resilient, not because life is easy, but because you are steady. Steadiness is strength. The practice of daily freedom. Freedom is not a single decision, it is daily. Every morning you choose your mindset. Every afternoon you choose your focus. Every evening you choose your reflection. Some days you will fall short. That is human. Freedom is not the absence of mistakes. It is the refusal to be defined by them. Learn, adjust, continue. Consistency builds confidence. Confidence builds authority. Authority builds freedom. A final reflection. Take another slow breath. Think about the areas in your life where you feel restricted. Now ask yourself honestly, is it circumstance? Or is it hesitation? Is it limitation? Or is it fear, Is it reality, or is it habit? There is more control within you than you have been using. More strength, more discipline, more clarity. Freedom is not waiting somewhere in the future. It is waiting for your decision. A decision to take ownership. A decision to grow deliberately. A decision to live aligned. Not loudly, not recklessly, but calmly, with authority, with integrity, with quiet strength. You are not here to drift. You are not here to be controlled by every emotion. You are not here to live by default. You are here to choose. And when you choose with awareness, when you act with discipline, when you stand with integrity, you are free. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Take one more breath. Stand taller. Move forward steadily. Freedom is not ahead of you. It is within you, and it begins now.